Welcome to IMRAN STAR video, or as we call it, ISVi, the collaborative lens on Vancouver, unfiltered, unscripted, and powered by community. We're not just a voice behind the mic, we're a collective of creators, thinkers, storytellers, and city lovers coming together to spotlight the people, places, and energy that make Vancouver what it is. From coast mountain skylines to neon-lit backstreets, we're covering everything from downtown buzz to the untold stories shaping our scene. You'll find us exclusively on YouTube, no algorithms, no filters, just real talk. For behind the scenes, updates, and chaotic brilliance in real time, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. So hit subscribe, drop a comment, and help us grow from 100 to 10,000 and beyond. Because this isn't just our platform, it's yours too. Turn it up. Get into it. Let's talk Vancouver. This is ISVi. Let's face it, most people commute through Vancouver in a car, on a bike, or wedged between someone's backpack and existential dread on the SkyTrain. But what if I told you there's a way to explore this city that doesn't involve honking, parking tickets, or staring blankly at Google Maps wondering how the Burrard Bridge still has traffic? Enter kayaking around Granville Island and English Bay. It's the ultimate Vancouver flex. Part peaceful nature cruise, part urban obstacle course, all served up with sweeping skyline views and the occasional passive-aggressive seagull. It's the kind of activity that says, I'm outdoorsy, but make it aesthetic. Paddling through these waters is like unlocking a cheat code to the city. You're gliding past billion-dollar condos, curious seals, floating homes, and under bridges that you've only ever screamed under in your car. It's giving Water Witch meets West Coast wellness influencer energy, with just enough upper body workout to justify that post-kayak poutine. Granville Island brings the chaos in the best way possible. You're dodging Aquabuses like they're mid-level Mario Kart opponents, waving at tourists, munching on market donuts, and trying not to drift into a yacht's blind spot. Meanwhile, English Bay serves full romantic cinema core, ocean breeze, mountain skyline, and paddleboarders who look like they've never known shame. Golden hour here isn't just nice. It's illegal not to post about. And the best part, no car required. You can literally rent a kayak, launch within minutes, and go from person with a to-do list to ocean-going icon with seaweed in their hair and peace in their heart before lunch. So whether you're a visitor trying to do something unique or a local in your seasonal rebrand era, kayaking around Granville Island and English Bay is a whole personality shift. It's scenic, it's peaceful, it's chaotic in the most charming way, and yes, it's very much main character paddling through emotional clarity while a seal watches energy. Let's be real. Unless you're one of those terrifyingly prepared people with your own kayak racked above your Subaru and a personality built around gear reviews, you probably don't own a kayak, and that's okay. This is Vancouver. We rent our bikes, lease our cars, and apparently date our baristas. Commitment isn't required to get on the water. Luckily, the city has you covered. Granville Island is basically kayak central, with multiple rental spots lined up and ready to serve you watercraft like it's a coastal drive-through. You'll find shops like Creekside Kayaks or Ecomarine where you can rent by the hour, the day, or until your arms start filing HR complaints. They'll give you a kayak, a paddle, a life jacket, and just enough instruction to survive. And then they shove you into False Creek like, good luck, King. If you're starting closer to the West End or just want a more dramatic sunset entrance, Sunset Beach and Vanier Park also have rental stations. Perfect if your vibe is, I just want one blurry GoPro photo and maybe to spiritually reconnect with seafoam. Not sure if you want to go full solo mission? Guided tours exist, and they're kind of a vibe. Local guides will lead you past hidden inlets, float home gossip, and waterfront trivia you can aggressively regurgitate later at parties. It's giving adventure meets oral history podcast, minus the editing. What should you bring? A dry bag for your phone, wallet, and emotional support snacks. Clothes that can get wet because you will get splashed or capsized depending on your drama level. Sunscreen, even when it's cloudy. Don't let Vancouver's overcast catfish you into a burn. Water, because dehydration hits harder when you're pretending you're at peace with the ocean. And if you're bringing a date, separate kayaks. Double kayaks are breakup boats in disguise. Trust me. Pro tips for beginners: don't fight the water. Paddle like you're gently arguing with it. Don't try to race the Aquabus. You'll lose. And for the love of Poseidon, don't lean while turning. That's how TikToks happen, and not the good kind. In short, you don't need to own the lifestyle to live it. Kayak rentals are affordable, accessible, and ready to inject your weekend with ocean slick chaos and a vague sense of personal growth. Just show up, sign the waiver, and try not to yell, "I'm doing it," every 5 minutes like it's a Pixar movie. If kayaking were a video game, Granville Island would be the chaotic neutral level. Beautiful to look at, but also full of unpredictable NPCs. Hello, Aquabus captains, random side quests, rescuing a tourist's flip-flop, and constant environmental hazards like waves from a yacht named Tax Shelter 3. You'll launch from Granville Island, where the vibes are already high, thanks to buskers, donut-fueled tourists, and that one guy juggling flaming knives in front of the public market like it's just another Tuesday. As soon as you hit the water, you're in it. The heart of False Creek, aka the Wet Autobahn. You're surrounded by kayaks, paddleboarders, dragon boaters training like they're prepping for the Olympics, and float planes casually landing nearby like that's a totally normal thing. As you paddle east, you're literally coasting by art studios, floating homes, and people who definitely own at least one crystal and 2 wind chimes. The Granville Street Bridge looms above like a concrete guardian angel with traffic issues, and you feel like the main character in a rom-com about self-discovery, until a water taxi suddenly cuts you off and you scream in lowercase. Don't panic, it's part of the experience. The real beauty of this loop isn't just the views, though let's be clear, you're getting skyline, street art, mountains, and at least one seal who will silently judge your paddling technique, but the sheer variety of weird and wonderful things you'll float past. There's a floating gas station, Maisishinor or Waskeshur Rasning, Nor or Orchard or Wowen Arshar. Last name, houseboats with gardens on their roofs, docks with herons doing power poses, and locals sunbathing on the back of their boats like it's a lifestyle brand shoot you were not invited to. You'll probably hear music echoing across the water from someone playing saxophone near the market, or a busker giving Elton John realness from a dock. At one point, a raccoon might waddle across the rocks like it's late for a brunch reservation. This is normal. This is Granville Island. And yes, the water can get choppy. Yes, you'll probably get splashed. And yes, someone in a dragon boat will yell, "Pull," and you will have a brief identity crisis. But if you're lucky, you'll hit that perfect moment of calm where the wind slows, the water smooths out, and you realize you're literally floating through Vancouver's creative heart while a seagull glares at you from a mooring post. And that's the Granville Island Loop, an art walk, street festival, and kayak boot camp rolled into one strangely therapeutic, mildly chaotic adventure. It's not just paddling, it's personality development. So, you've mastered the Granville Island loop, you've dodged the Aquabus, survived the heron stare down, and developed enough confidence to say, I kinda kayak now at brunch. Cute. Now it's time to leave the marina womb and paddle into the chaotic serenity of English Bay, aka the ocean's version of a reality check. Paddling west out of False Creek, you'll slide past Sunset Beach, where sunbathers lie motionless like it's a human solar panel convention, and someone's chihuahua is always off-leash. You're no longer in protected water, you're in the real stuff now. Wind? Check. Tides? Yes. Surprise wave from a yacht trying to reverse? Absolutely. Welcome to the open water arc of your Vancouver kayak story. As you round the edge of English Bay Beach, everything expands. The city skyline starts to fade behind you. The water deepens, and suddenly you're like, wow, I am but a humble speck on this vast ocean. Please, don't let me flip in front of these paddleboard influencers. This is where the vibe shifts. English Bay isn't just paddling, it's a full sensory experience. You've got salt in the air, sunscreen in your eye, and a healthy respect for Poseidon developing by the second. But also, it's kinda stunning. You've got the North Shore Mountains in the distance giving fantasy novel cover energy, the Burrard Bridge behind you being dramatic, and maybe a seal or two popping up like water Pokemon, curious about your flailing. This stretch rewards those who can chill and commit. The water's wider, the wind's stronger, and the kayakers more serious. You might see someone in a dry suit who clearly trains for this and drinks bone broth for fun. Do not compare yourself to them, just vibe. And if you're lucky enough to be out during golden hour, prepare for your entire camera roll to become a sunset thirst trap. The light bounces off the water, the buildings glow, and everything feels like the emotional climax of a Netflix coming-of-age movie. Except your arms are cramping and you kind of forgot where the launch point is. Worth it, but don't get too cocky. This area demands respect. The tides shift fast. The wind picks up like it heard you say, I got this. And while the water might look calm, it will absolutely humble you if you try to take a hands-free selfie mid-swell. Pro tip, check the weather, tide charts, and your own ego before heading out. Stick close to shore if you're unsure, and if you see a sailboat named Vitamin C headed your way, maybe just paddle right for a bit. Bottom line, English Bay is where your kayaking glow-up happens. It's moody, expansive, unpredictable, and a little dangerous, like a Pisces with an REI membership. It'll test you, but it'll also reward you with panoramic views, sea mist in your hair, and stories that start with, okay, so I almost got hit by a sea lion. Let's not pretend you're here just for the cardio. Yes, paddling burns calories, builds muscle, and helps process your seasonal depression. But let's be honest, you're also here for the vibes, the clout, and the Instagram story that screams, just casually kayaking past a skyline. And you know what? Valid, because kayaking around Granville Island and English Bay is not just a workout, it's a scenic flex. Every direction is a different kind of gorgeous. Let's break it down. Stanley Park from the water, majestic, moody. The tree-lined cliffs look like a Bob Ross fever dream, and you half expect an eagle to deliver a TED Talk mid-glide. The Burrard Bridge, a towering slice of industrial drama, great for backdrops, selfies, and convincing people you kayak all the time, when in reality you were lost for 30 minutes and followed a paddleboarder to safety. False Creek, pure visual chaos. You're paddling past houseboats, floating gardens, billionaire yachts, and someone playing the saxophone on a dock like they're scoring your inner monologue. Peak main character energy. English Bay at golden hour, cinematic. The sun dips low, the water shimmers, and even the seagulls calm down just long enough for you to get the shot. This is your time. This is your paddlecore rebrand. And we haven't even gotten to the wildlife. You will 100% see a seal pop up like an unbothered wet emoji, stare at you blankly, and vanish like it has better places to be. Sometimes you'll spot herons standing motionless like they're judging your core strength. Occasionally, you'll pass a rogue jellyfish and go full Discovery Channel mode while paddling away very, very quickly. Want a selfie that hits harder than your last 6 therapy sessions? Pull up beside the bridge, angle the paddle like you know what you're doing, and capture that "I'm emotionally balanced and outdoorsy now" shot. Bonus points if a seal is photobombing. Triple bonus points if your kayak partner is screaming in the background. That's content. The best part? You don't have to fake the glow. Between the wind, the sun, and the smug satisfaction of being a coastal adventurer for the day, you'll leave with skin dewy, eyes misty, and confidence disturbingly high. Okay, so you're out there on the water, sun-kissed, glowing, maybe even having a minor life epiphany. But before you get too deep into your main character arc, let's pump the brakes or paddles and talk about safety. Because while kayaking around Granville Island and English Bay is gorgeous, it's also a floating chaos simulator with rules, real risks, and way too many people pretending they know what they're doing. First things first, you're not alone. The water is shared by aquabuses, sailboats, yachts owned by emotionally distant tech bros, dragon boat teams, SU yogis, rogue ducks, and seagulls with rage issues. You are but a humble blip in the sea of floating chaos. So, don't act like you're the Beyonce of False Creek. Stay alert, stay in your lane, and don't challenge the Aquabus to a race. It won't end well, emotionally or legally. Next up, restricted zones are not suggestions. You see a floating no-go marker? Respect it. Also, can we talk tides and weather? Vancouver weather is like your most toxic situationship. Unpredictable, moody, and occasionally violent without warning. Check the marine forecast. Check the wind speeds. Check your pride. Speaking of reckoning, life jackets. Wear one. Always. Let's also talk about respecting marine life. If a seal pops up next to you, wave politely and paddle on. Do not chase it. Do not feed it. Oh, and don't litter. This isn't Burning Man. If your granola bar wrapper ends up in the bay, that's a full environmental red flag and one-way ticket to Guilt Spiral City. Pack it in, pack it out, and keep your crumbs to yourself. Finally, stay hydrated. Don't go out alone if you're new, and maybe let someone know where you're headed. Kayaking is fun, yes, but it's also a real water sport. The ocean doesn't care about your cute outfit or your inner peace journey. She will humble you respectfully but thoroughly. Bottom line, respect the water, respect the rules, and most importantly, don't be a floating menace. Kayaking isn't just a way to flex your wellness era, it's a chance to connect with nature, enjoy the city, and not get hit by a boat. So, after surviving mild upper body trauma, dodging billion-dollar yachts, and making direct eye contact with a seal who now owns part of your soul, you've completed your kayak-induced spiritual awakening through Granville Island and English Bay. Congrats! You're now officially a West Coast cliché, but like in the best way. You floated past floating homes that cost more than your life, watched herons strike poses more graceful than anything you've done since 2019, and learned the hard way that wind plus ego, capsizing energy. You've probably lost a water bottle, gained a deeper appreciation for seagull boundaries and had at least one, wow, maybe I should delete social media and live on the water moment. That's growth, babe. And even through the salt spray, seaplane anxiety, and kayak rental waiver that definitely made you nervous, you did something deeply, ridiculously Vancouver. You paddled. You explored the city from sea level like an aquatic explorer with trust issues and snack crumbs in your dry bag. And here's the thing. You'll want to do it again. Because there's something about being in that kayak, gliding past a skyline and into open water that makes you feel untouchable. Until a rogue wave slaps you back into reality and reminds you you're one gust away from humility. Still, it's addictive. The rhythm of the paddle, the way the water reflects the sunset, the slightly unhinged joy of seeing a jellyfish and deciding you're now ocean aware, touch TM. So, go ahead, paddle, pause, repeat. Make it your summer ritual, your Sunday hangover cure, or your soft launch recovery activity. Whether you're solo floating in full introvert mode or bringing a friend who screams every time the kayak wobbles, it's always a vibe. And as you return to shore, dripping, sun-kissed, and slightly more confident than when you left, remember this, you didn't just kayak, you Vancouvered hard. And just like that, the city's pulse slows. But the story doesn't stop. You've been watching ISVi, IMRAN STAR video, where voices come together and the city speaks back. We're a crew, not a single face. A movement, not a moment. And every episode, that's built with you, for you, by all of us. From the seawall to the skyline, from underground voices to rooftop vibes, we're telling the stories that don't make the news, but make the neighborhood. If this episode hit, pass it on. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Drop a comment and tell us what your Vancouver sounds like. We're building this together, clip by clip, story by story, from 100 to 10K to wherever this takes us. Then we all show up. So until the next drop, stay loud, stay collective, and stay in it. This is ISVi, signing off.